What if I told you Iraq might be standing right on the edge of one of the biggest money shakeups in its modern history? Sounds crazy, right? But it's true. The Central Bank of Iraq has been making bold moves that look like they are leading straight toward the launch of a digital dinar. And this isn't just internet chatter or wild speculation anymore. There are open talks and even hints of cooperation between Iraq's central bank and Chase Bankias, the massive U.S. financial giant. For anyone holding Iraqi dinar or even Vietnamese dong, this could be something you really want to pay attention to. We're not talking about maybe one day. We're talking about things that are already being discussed out in the open. Governor Ali Alek has personally gone on record talking about a government-backed digital currency. That alone tells us these aren't empty headlines, but a real plan being pieced together inside Iraq's financial system. So let's take a breath and unpack what this actually means. If Iraq rolls out a digital dinar, it would be their version of a central bank digital currency or CBDC. Picture it as your paper dinar bills, but totally electronic and accessible on your phone or laptop. No more carrying cash around. Unlike private cryptos like Bitcoin or Ethereum, this one would be completely issued, backed, and controlled by Iraq's government and central bank. That makes it legal money you could actually trust in the same way you trust physical bills. And now imagine pairing that with some form of partnership with Chase Bank. Suddenly, Iraq isn't just playing catch-up with the world. They're stepping into the same arena where global powers like China, the EU, and even the US are already moving. But here's the question investors really want to know. Why now? Why would Iraq be so focused on pushing a digital dinar right at this moment? The truth is, Iraq's banking system has been under heavy strain for years. Millions of citizens still don't have easy access to banks, especially in rural areas where cash is still king. A digital dinar could let Iraq skip over those issues completely. Imagine small shops being able to accept payments instantly with a phone or families in the countryside sending money without a long trip to the city. For Iraq, this isn't just about new tech about finally including people who have been left out of the system for decades. On top of that, the country spends huge amounts printing, shipping, and securing paper money. A digital version cuts down those costs, reduces corruption, makes it harder for shady money to disappear since every transaction leaves a trail. That's massive for a country where financial transparency has been a long-time challenge. Iraq isn't alone in this race. China's digital yuan is already being tested in multiple cities. The EU is working toward a digital euro. Even the US is seriously studying a digital dollar. For Iraq to step into this space right now shows they want a seat at the table. And here's what makes it even more interesting for dinar and dong investors. Going digital doesn't mean the paper currency suddenly vanishes. Most countries rolling out CBDCs are keeping both options side by side. People who want to use cash still can, while those who want to go digital get that choice. The important part is that digital options make Iraq more attractive for global businesses. International companies might find it easier to work in Iraq when digital payments are on the table. Cross-border deals could become faster, cheaper, and smoother, and moving the long waits and high fees of international transfers. For investors, that kind of modernization could mean a big boost in demand for Iraq's currency worldwide. Now let's pull Vietnam into the picture for a second. Because just like Iraq, Vietnam has been looking into its own version of a digital dong. Their central bank has been doing research and running studies to figure out how to make it happen. When you put Iraq and Vietnam side by side, you see two countries that are resource-rich, full of young and tech-friendly populations, and both sitting in strategic parts of the world. Both are signaling they're ready to ride the digital finance wave instead of being left behind. That's not just coincidence. It feels like part of a bigger global shift, with developing nations making sure they don't miss their shot at the digital economy. And then there's Chase Bank. Why does their name keep popping up in this conversation? Because Chase is one of the largest U.S. financial players and has tons of experience in digital, banking, and international systems. Their willingness to work with Iraqi at these early stages gives this entire project a ton of credibility. Let's be real, big banks don't just throw their weight behind random ideas. If Chase sees promise here, it means they believe Iraq has both financial potential and long-term stability worth investing in. For investors, that's a major green flag. Outside confidence like that is one of the strongest signals that Iraq's financial future is being taken seriously on the world stage. So what's next on Iraq's to-do list? The central bank needs to build rock-solid digital infrastructure that's safe, reliable, and easy for everyday people to use. That means designing secure servers, creating user-friendly apps, and training banks, businesses, and citizens on how to handle digital money. They also need to build smooth bridges between paper currency and the digital version so people can switch between the two with no headaches. It won't happen overnight. It'll take testing, planning, and a lot of education campaigns. But here's the twist. Governor Ali Alek is already talking about it like it's in motion. That means Iraq could be further along than most people think. For Dinar holders right now, this development could mean a few key things. First, it would boost confidence in Iraq's financial system, since international investors tend to prefer places with modern, transparent banking setups. Second, it could spark more foreign investment because outside companies would have an easier time doing business in Iraq. And third, just the fact that a U.S. giant like Chase is involved makes the dinar look stronger in global eyes. Put those factors together, and you've got real potential for upward pressure on the dinar's value. Zooming out, though, this is about more than just fast payments. It's about countries positioning themselves in the global digital economy of the future. As finance and trade move online, nations without modern systems risk falling behind. Iraq knows it doesn't want to be left out, especially given its energy resources and strategic location. Vietnam sees the same opportunity as it pushes to modernize and attract more foreign capital. If both countries nail down their digital currencies, they could find themselves playing on the same field as much bigger economies in terms of financial tech. The next big sign to watch will be test launches. Most countries start by running small pilots in major cities before going nationwide. If Baghdad or Basra start rolling out trial runs of the digital dinar, that will be the first real proof Iraq is moving forward. And if other Middle Eastern nations decide to follow Iraq's lead, we could even see regional cooperation in digital finance, making trade between countries even easier. Investors watching the dung should also stay alert, because if Vietnam moves in step with Iraq, that might point to a broader strategy across developing regions. Timing, of course, is the million-dollar question. We can't put a calendar date on when the digital dinar will arrive. But the fact that Iraq's central bank is openly talking about it means the work is already underway. Building a digital currency takes time, but international partnerships usually speed things up. With Chase on board, Iraq has outside expertise to help push things forward quicker than expected. That's why investors should be watching every official announcement, new agreement, or pilot test closely. And if we suddenly see new designs for paper dinar, that could also be a clue, since countries often refresh physical notes when digital versions are in the works. Of course, none of this comes without challenges. Iraq will need top-tier security to prevent hacks or fraud. One mistake could destroy trust in the system before it even gets going. Another challenge is educating the public. A lot of Iraqis have never used digital banking before, so building trust will take big campaigns to show people it's safe and reliable. But if Iraq can get this right, it could be transformational. We're talking about modernizing the entire financial system. It's making it easier for people to participate in the economy, boosting foreign investment, and building strength in the dinar's value. For patient investors, this might finally be the payoff they've been waiting for. And when you look at Vietnam, you see a similar story unfolding. They too are preparing for the digital age, and that could make the dung more attractive on the international stage. Put Iraq and Vietnam together, and it's clear that both countries are chasing credibility, growth, and opportunity through digital finance. In the bigger picture, the nations that adapt quickly to central bank digital currencies are setting themselves up to lead in trade, technology, and investment. Iraq and Vietnam clearly want to be at the front of that wave, not stuck at the back. So what does all of this mean for you as an investor? It means patience could seriously pay off. Iraq's push for a digital dinar, openly discussed by Governor Alek and boosted by Chase Bank's involvement, shows this isn't just a dream anymore. It's happening. Vietnam is walking a similar path. Together, these moves point toward both the dinar and dung stepping into stronger roles in a global economy that's going digital faster than ever. The value of these currencies may not just be tied to paper anymore, but to their place in this brand new financial world that's being built right now. Stay tuned. Keep watching the announcements, and get ready for a financial future that looks very different from the past.